Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew.
And I'm Cassie.
And you're listening to Culips. Hey, Cassie, how's it going?
I'm doing well, Andrew. How about you?
I'm doing pretty well myself. Cassie, I'm excited for this topic today because I think it's one that will have lots to talk about. We are going to discuss volunteering today. Volunteering. And to give a quick definition of volunteering, it's an activity where you donate your time by working for free for some kind of greater good, right? You could be working for a charity or
build schools or clean up oceans or beaches with trash or teach something to children or elderly in a community.
Take a dog for a walk from the dog shelter. Any kind of good activity that you are doing for free, we call volunteering, right? Even parents can volunteer at their children's schools. I guess it's any type of labor that you're doing, but you're not getting paid for, we can call volunteering. And that is the topic for today's Simplified Speech episode. So listeners, if you don't know what Simplified Speech is, I will quickly explain it to you here. It is just the Culips series where we have completely natural English conversations, but we talk a little bit slower than we do in our everyday lives. And we have a study guide for this episode as well, guys. It is available to download on our website, culips.com, and we recommend that you follow along with the study guide while you listen to us here today. So if you'd like to do that, hit pause, go to culips.com, download it, and then tune back in. Let's get into it. Volunteering. I'm a little bit ashamed. I don't really do any volunteer work these days. Do you?
Yeah, don't be ashamed. I think everybody has, their ups and downs with their time. Right now, I do not volunteer, but I'm looking into volunteering in the new year. I've already got some ideas.
Okay. I also often think about volunteering because really when you think about it, it's a good thing to do, right? You can benefit society by helping the elderly or helping children or helping people in need. It's just a good thing to do, I think, right?
Yeah, it's a good way to help your community and then also help your spirit as well, right? You feel really good when you donate your time and energy for a good cause.
Mm-hmm. Since Cassie and I both live in South Korea, one of the common ways for English-speaking foreigners who live in South Korea to volunteer is to teach English, right? Mm-hmm. This is something that we can do quite easily to give back to the community. So I have some colleagues who donate their time by helping North Korean refugees assimilate into modern life by teaching them English.
Yeah, that's actually what I'm considering doing, but not for North Koreans. I live in the southern part of Korea where I'm not sure there are a lot of North Koreans living there, but there are a lot of factory workers from Southeast Asia, India, Uzbekistan, and they also really want to learn English. And there's a big community where I'm living right now, and I'd love to give back and teach a class or two.
Yeah, I've thought about also teaching some free classes maybe to disadvantaged children. Or another thing that I would like to do is walk dogs.
Ah, like from an animal shelter.
From like an animal shelter.
I've done that. It's really nice. However, getting the dogs out of the cage is so scary.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know them, so you think, oh my gosh, are they going to bite me? Do they have rabies? But after they're out of the cage, it's a lovely experience.
Right. Yeah, that could be kind of frightening. I always assumed that there would be somebody working there that would help you.
I don't know about in every country, but here it is very lax. These dogs never get out of their cages. I mean, not in every place maybe, but
Maybe shelter to shelter is different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But yeah, that's something that I thought about is walking dogs, because I would like to have a pet dog, but Cassie, you are here in my apartment right now and you can see that it's quite small. There's not really enough space here for a dog, is there?
I mean, it's bigger than their cage in the shelter.
True. What about back home where we're from in North America, in Canada, in the USA? What are some popular volunteer activities? Let's start in your country, in the USA. What do people do?
I mean, I guess the most cliche thing I can think of is volunteering in soup kitchens for homeless shelters.
Okay.
Cliche meaning if you see it in a movie or read it in a book, a lot of times it's volunteering in soup kitchens.
Yes, and a soup kitchen is kind of the nickname for a facility for homeless people, right? Where they can come and eat. And sometimes there's even rooms where they can sleep too. And it's usually, not always, but usually associated with a Christian charity. Like maybe it's a church that operates a soup kitchen.
Yes, that's right. A lot of volunteer activities in the US are run by some Christian or religious organization.
Yeah, it's definitely common to see that. So I would agree that in Canada too, a lot of people volunteer at soup kitchens and homeless facilities, especially around the holiday time and in the winter. I think during the holidays, Christmas, people are a little more generous. And
yeah, they want to spread the good cheer.
Spread the good cheer, yeah. Thinking of the winter, another thing that some people in Canada do during the winter to volunteer is to help elderly people by clearing the snow from their driveway.
That's excellent. In your hometown, how deep does the snow get?
Every winter is different, and I feel like it's changing a little bit. There's less snow than there used to be, but yeah, if we get a winter storm, it could be knee deep, up to your knee, maybe.
Can you imagine an old person trying to shovel a knee-deep amount of snow?
Yeah, it's difficult. And I remember my father would always go and shovel our neighbor's driveway because they were elderly and had some difficulties getting up and down their driveway to their house. So he would always do that. And I thought that was a nice thing to do. And other people in our neighborhood would also help out their neighbors. So it's kind of more of an informal volunteering, right? But it's still volunteering.
That's the cool part about volunteering, right? You don't have to have a lot of money or have an extreme amount of time or sacrifice. You can do even just little things in your community, and it makes a big difference.
Even just picking up some trash while you're on a walk, right?
Yes.
To make your park a little bit more beautiful, to make your community a little bit more beautiful. This goes a long way. Now, we were also discussing, just before we hit record, some of the negative things about volunteering, because there's always two sides to every coin, right?
That's right, Andrew.
And sometimes, even though people have good intentions, there can be some negative consequences to volunteering. And we were specifically talking about overseas volunteering.
Yeah, we were talking about how in the US and Canada especially, young youth, so middle schoolers or high schoolers, will travel to developing countries such as Mexico or South America in the pretext of building a house or a school or cleaning up some community area. But a lot of the times it's pretty much kind of like a winter break or a spring break, just going there to goof off with your friends.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a lot of my friends from my hometown went to a Christian school. There's nothing wrong with the school. It was a very good school, but every spring they went to a country in Central America to volunteer, and they built a cinder block house. That was what the kids would go there to do. They'd go down to this Central American country, build a house, and then come back home. But now that I think about it in retrospect, I don't think they were being very helpful. It was kind of just like them patting themselves on the back, like, oh, we went down there and we built this home for these poor people.
We changed their lives.
We changed their lives. It's like they're feeling good about themselves, but I wonder, maybe this is just me being cynical, but I really wonder how helpful that is in the end.
Yeah, if you take the money that they spent, each of them spent on their plane ticket and their accommodation, food, and you gather that and then find a way to send that money directly to that community, to hire someone from their community to use that money in a useful way, it could go so much further than having everybody come down there for 1 or 2 weeks.
Yes, I kind of think that's the case. I guess from the school's perspective, they're trying to teach the students about the world, right? And show them that there are areas of the world where people have less compared to what we have in Canada. So from that point of view, it's probably also a good thing.
Spreading knowledge.
Some firsthand experience that the world is, a different place for different people. So that could be good. But I wonder, maybe perhaps some of our listeners live in some of these communities and have had volunteer groups come in. I wonder what their experience would be like.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to know how you feel about this topic.
Yeah, definitely. You could send us an email to contact@culips.com and let us know. You could enlighten us. Cassie, I have a question for you just before we wrap up here, and that is about the Peace Corps, a very famous organization in the USA that I believe is all about volunteering. Is this true?
Yeah, that's right. It's about the people who volunteer to be in the Peace Corps. They have to commit all of their time and energy for, I think it's a 1 or 2 year contract. The difference between what we were just talking about, going down to a community for just a week or two, the difference between that and the Peace Corps is you are really immersing yourself in the culture and you're trying to bring change inside the community. People do Peace Corps through a variety of different roles: doctors, teachers, lawyers.
Maybe you could clear this up for me because I'm not really sure about this aspect of the Peace Corps, but it's my understanding that it's somehow connected to the American military. Is this true?
No. So the name Peace Corps might sound like, military corps, but it's not related.
Okay.
But it is funded and managed by the U.S. government.
Aha. So it's a government program.
Yeah, trying to spread good relations through the U.S., like ties with other countries in the U.S.
Okay, the relationship between America and some of the other countries worldwide.
Yeah, and people who volunteer in the Peace Corps, they really want to do it to give back, but also if they complete their, 1 or 2 year mission, it gives them opportunities to advance within U.S. government if they want a job in politics or maybe nonprofit work.
Okay. And can anybody do it, or do you have to apply and be accepted?
You have to apply and be accepted. And I heard it can be very hardcore. The competition these days is pretty high, even though the pay is extremely low. Because it's a really intense program that has a lot of benefits and it has a lot of connections that you can make and really see some change in the world.
Well, that's an awesome opportunity for Americans then. I don't think in Canada we have a Peace Corps or any similar international service. I know that we have a domestic government volunteer program called Katimavik, where youth can apply for this program and they're placed in a different community in Canada. And it's usually kind of a cultural exchange too, because, in Canada we have 3 big kind of ethnic communities. We have the English-speaking Canadians, French-speaking Canadians, and also the First Nations people. So maybe if you are from Vancouver, you would go to some place in Quebec and have a kind of French-English exchange. Or if you are from Montreal and you applied to this program, maybe you would go to Vancouver. And so it's kind of a way to volunteer for different organizations in the country, but also to gain some sort of Canadian cultural experience. And I had a couple of friends who did this during their first year in university. So they were my friends for the first year, and then I never saw them again because they went to the Katimavik program. And I don't know if they returned to university the next year or if they just stayed volunteering forever. Perhaps they're still volunteering now. Who knows?
Wow, that sounds really cool. I don't know if we have a program like that in the US, but it'd be helpful, like building connections within your own country. It seems like the US is so divided even amongst ourselves. We could learn a lot from Canada with that program.
Absolutely. Well, listeners, I think we'll wrap it up here for today, but feel free to send us a message and let us know about your thoughts on this topic, volunteering. We would love to know what you have to say. As well, you can follow us on social media. We are on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube. You name it, we're there. You can find us by searching for the Culips English Podcast. And finally, don't forget to check out our website, culips.com. It's where you can get the study guide for this episode and also find all of our previous episodes. There are over 500 episodes, oh my God, on our website, culips.com. So please check it out. We'll be back soon with another new episode and we'll talk to you then. Goodbye.
Catch you later.